This is a demonstration of how the Kenwood DNX9980HD handles different codecs played from different media. First off, I have a Kingston Data Traveler Secure USB drive. This is 1 GB in capacity, formatted with extended file allocation table, which the Kenwood supports fine. So I'm going to plug that into the USB port, and we'll see the tracks load up. So the first thing I'll demonstrate here is this MP3 here sounds correct. If we play it from the beginning, we'll hear that this song, which is part of a mix CD, that this is the second track, so it starts out at full volume. There's no fade in the recording. The MP3 sounds correct. These are this particular MP3 was encoded with lame at the default settings, and I'll play it from the beginning here. So as we can hear, that song started out at full volume. What we are finding here is that every single other format other than MP3 does not play correctly. So I will demonstrate the files here. So first off, we have, this is actually a different song, but it also starts out at full volume. This first track was, it's an M4A, an AAC file that was purchased from the iTunes Music Store. The second track is a WAV file, just a raw wave that was ripped off of a CD. After that is an AAC that was encoded with iTunes. Then is an AAC encoded with the Nero AAC encoder. And then there is an optimized version of that was optimized with MP4 Creator. And then there is an MP3 that was encoded with lame, which we've just heard, and a WMA encoded with Windows Media Encoder 9. So I'll start out, I'll just play the songs through the list and we can hear how they sound. This song starts out with a full volume drum beat, and we'll hear how it sounds when we play it. So we can hear that there's a definite fade in when we play that song. If I go into the other another mode here and use the slider, for instance, I have to unpause it. Playing and pausing it does not cause the fade in. Sliding does. So this is the WAV file. As we can hear, the WAV file also fades in. The WAV file is very slow to load just due to its file size. This is an iTunes encoded AAC file. It also fades in. As we can hear, the NeroAAC file fades in as well, as does the optimized version. The only one that plays back correctly is the MP3. This one's fine. So this problem is quite irritating because when you're playing your music, you often will miss the very beginning of the song, and if you're listening to a live CD or a mixed CD, you hear a fade in at the beginning of every song that's not supposed to be there. And as far as I know, there's no way to turn this off. I'm going to demonstrate the same thing. I've burned these same files onto a CD-ROM. So also, I have tested this on several USB drives, and under FAT16, FAT32, I've tested it on an OCZ Rally 16 gig, and also a Kingston Data Traveler drive, and they all perform in exactly the same way. So we'll show the CD-ROM support.
Everybody's waiting for the next best thing to come along.
So as we can hear, the CD-ROM plays the iTunes purchased AAC file just fine, and there's no fade in at all. Again, it plays the iTunes encoded AAC from my my CD rip just fine with no fade in. The Nero version, the version that was encoded with Nero, does not play by default. In recent versions of the Nero AAC encoder, what they have done is added an 8-bit padding into the MDAT atoms, so there are actually 8 0-bytes there. And I believe what's going on here is that the Kenwood AAC decoder that's used only for optical media is not recognizing that as valid data and is ignoring it, even though the headers in the file correct for this, and it should work. What I can do is run a program called MP4 Creator with the optimize parameter on this file, and it actually it changes those headers, or the MDATs, so that they don't have those 0 bytes in them, and then it works fine. As we can hear here, it plays every bit as well as the iTunes version now. But this is considered a bug. The Kenwood unit should support this. For it to support files over 4 gigabytes, it absolutely has to work this way. So the lame encoded MP3 is fine. The WMA file does not play at all. So there's an issue with WMA decoding. I don't personally use WMA, so I haven't done a lot of research into exactly what's going on there. But obviously AAC format support is very important. So as we can see here, on USB, there is an issue where waves, AAC files, and WMA files all will play back fine. There are no issues playing back any of the formats, except that all of these formats fade in gradually as you start playing them, or as you skip in the track with the slider. It doesn't matter if you hit the back button or if it is just normally advancing to the next track. You hear this fade every time, and it's quite annoying. This does not happen on DVD or on CD, but on the other hand, the codec support is more limited. It doesn't play WMAs properly, and it doesn't play all AAC files properly, as we've seen. So there's my CD. So there are some issues here that hopefully can be worked out in a firmware update in the future. So there's a quick summary of what's going on with the different codecs.